2010 Toyota Camry, a 2.5 engine, CV axle replacement, driver's side. I'm gonna lift the vehicle, secure on stands, that way it doesn't fall on anybody or even yourself. Next step is going to be to remove the tire, 5 lug nuts. Alright, next we're going to remove our axle nut. The socket is a 30 millimeter. This is the type of socket you need for this type of axle nut. Also, I like to release some of the hydraulic pressure on the brakes just by using a screwdriver and pulling to the outside. Pulling to the outside, we're gonna hook right on the lip, inside lip of the brake rotor, just to have a little bit of play on it when we install it back. And I'm just gonna take it out, the whole brake caliper with bracket. We're gonna remove these two bolts, one here and one on the bottom. Also, I'm gonna take that number 10 or 12 so I can get more length of the hose. I'm gonna hang it back over there. Then we're gonna remove this bolt and this one on the bottom. Make sure to, if you have an alignment bolt like this one is, make sure to find a way to mark your bolt the way it's sitting right now. That way when you put it back, you try to put it back the way it came in. Alright, so let's get to it. Okay, I have already removed the brake caliper. I put a bungee over there and hold it, leave a little bit of slack on the hose, brake hose, that way it doesn't break. We're gonna put back our axle nut, put it flush, and we're just gonna tap it gentle tapping on the axle until it gets all the way to the back and loose. Also, some of these brake rotors, they stick to the hub or to the knuckle. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put two 12 millimeter bolts on each side, and we're gonna, that's how we're gonna remove them. And then they get loose like that, they break loose like that. So they have a special hole threads on the rotors for each side. So there you go, that's how you break them loose. Right after we have removed the two bolts for the strut, also don't forget to remove your ABS sensor. It's a number 10 millimeter bolt that holds the sensor right here in place. Remove it before you remove these bolts from your strut. Also, we're just gonna pull on the knuckle. We're gonna tap a little bit as well. While we're pulling, we're gonna tap the tip of the axle, and then it should be able to come loose. See, it's there. So now all we have to do is work over there by the transmission. Use a pry bar and pull it forward. Be careful, some of these transmissions leak fluid, so wear goggles, glass protecting eye protection. Put a funnel on the bottom or something to catch oil, and make sure the oil that comes out, the same amount you're going to put back. Make sure to use new transmission fluid, the specific fluid for this transmission. Okay, so I have removed the axle already from the transmission. I used a like a pry bar, this type of pry bar from the bottom. I went under and push it forward So it's removed. I also have my oil catcher over there. You don't need a bigger oil catcher. It's just gonna be a little bit of it's out actually without any spills, but it's better to be prepared for spills than be sorry. We changed this axis because it's leaking here. It's making a clunky noise when you turn to the right, so that's the main reason why we changed this one. As you can see, it doesn't take much of effort. Sometimes it is a fight to get them out, but this one was fairly easy, and I'm happy for that. Also, we want to compare a new one with the old one. I have already done that, so make sure you compare your new one with the old one, especially the end where it's gonna go inside the transmission and where it's gonna go on your wheel bearing hub assembly. So make sure they look fairly good, they don't look damaged, because I had a situation before where one of them was damaged and I could never get it into in place inside the bearing assembly. So check that. Also, you want to press the axle all the way inside the transmission until you feel a clunk. It means that the safety ring has gone all the way inside the transmission, and this also is almost against the transmission, just like the other one was inside against the transmission. So make sure you do your inspection, okay? Don't just try to install it and then find out you have a transmission leak. You want all the way sit against inside the transmission. And the way you're gonna do that is you're gonna hold your axle with two hands, one hand here, and the other one hand in here on the outside, and you're gonna like hammer it inside until it sits all the way inside. Make sure that you don't go crooked in here at the beginning. Make sure it's parallel, straight, and then hammer it with the axle, not with the other metal. It's just you're just gonna use the same axle to hammer it inside, and then you will feel it when it goes all the way inside and stops. Now you're just gonna put it back in here and tighten everything up, all your bolts, the same way you took them out. So now that we have done installing our strut back in place, two bolts, tighten them real good. Also, we're gonna tie this caliper bracket bolts, and we're gonna tie our number 12 for the support of the brake line. We're gonna put our tire back in place. We're gonna tighten our lug nut, I believe 140 foot-pounds, but I'll double check on that. 140 foot-pounds. Okay, this is the most critical. On the rest of it, I don't go by any specs. I just tie them where I feel comfortable. Alright, let me correct myself. I just find out it's 217 foot-pounds for the spindle nut or axle nut. 217 foot-pounds. Okay, after we have set up everything down, then we're going to torque our spindle nut or axle nut to 217 foot-pounds, and until we hear a click from the torque wrench, then we stop. There you go. So one more thing, that don't forget to lock your lug nut. Use a punch and just punch this lip of the axle nut down into this cavity That way it locks the nut and it doesn't come undone or loose on the vibration. That's all. Alright guys.